Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome back to Brown Bag Bets. Powered by BetSports, we are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. I'm Alex Christensen, and joining me, as always, Andy. And since it's the end of the week and Andy and I are tired, we need some help. So we bring in Mr. Matt Rooney to help us with all things college football. Any baseball today, Matt? I don't know if I saw that in the
Your
run.
Phillies play. Not, I don't have any baseball bets, thankfully, because the end of the season is it's hard. It's kind of hard to predict, and it's killing me. And your Phillies do play this afternoon. I believe they have the Nationals around 1 o'clock your time.
They probably lose this afternoon. So
Them
that's
and
one thing you can
luckily
count on
for
at the
you
end of the
too. Luckily
season.
for you too, the Brewers, who are the team chasing them in the wild card, also just continuously lose to teams that they should beat. So those two teams are really limping to the finish there for the final wild card spot.
Yeah,
Trying to
we'll
find
catch up again once the playoffs actually start. Today is just about betting other things than baseball, and then getting. Are you gonna partake today, Alex? In our pizza, it's Pizza Friday.
Oh yeah, it's Pizza Friday. There will be pizza on Friday. I got bagel bites in the freezer, and I got a Detroit style pie yesterday. But I have to try to figure out the optimal way to reheat that in the oven. Because if those of you who don't know, the Detroit style pie has like this cheese thick, like burnt cheese crust around
Oh
it.
yeah,
And there's lots of layers, and
And
I
sauce
imagine
on
I'll have to
top.
use some tin foil maybe around the bottom of it to try to preserve
Yeah.
all that. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of work, and might just get a fresh pie anyway
So
because there's never enough pizza.
immediate tangent before we get into sports.
sure.
The Andy house remodel is nearly finished. New kitchen. I opted for a badass microwave. Like this thing is, it's like the Cadillac of microwaves. It is. Turns out it's also a. It's not only a microwave. It's also a convection oven. Like it's just a
Also known as an
convection
air
oven too.
fryer.
That's
Yeah,
pretty awesome.
I've been
I
like
didn't know they made
reheating
those.
shit in that because it warms up so fast because it's small compared to an oven. So we don't live close enough for this to work out, but I'm well set up to reheat leftovers, pizzas and whatnot. But I'm just gonna go. I'm going. There's like a guy that moved here from New York. He could be fucking lying to me about this and lying to everyone. Honestly, he could be lying to our community. I feel bad slandering him. He's not probably, but he claims to have moved here from New York and opened a pizza place, and it is very New Yorkish style. And it's like 6 blocks from my office. If it's nice enough outside, it looks like it is 57. I might drive. It's a little. I'm still wearing shorts, but
57 is a beautiful fall day.
Pizza Friday is on, and let's bet on some shit because it's that time of day. What's up first on the docket? Did I put golf first?
I think you did.
I feel like I need a good golf bet because yesterday's weren't good. Honestly, my full tournament plays, a couple of my golfers are playing like absolute garbage. The only good golfer I have right now is Emiliano Grillo, and I did use him. If you're over in the Discord, I used him. I had a winning day yesterday. It was 3-2-1. So I mean, we ended up a little bit, but it's been trying because the two that I lost were close and annoying for the most part. And today, Grillo, I bet him versus Benny on. He's up by 4 strokes with about 8 holes to go. Hopefully, he doesn't choke that up. A lot of retreads from yesterday, but one I added that doesn't start for a while is Seamus Power, our Irish friend, over Harris English. There's some reports that Harris English's swing was looking back to normal. His club speed, things of that nature were okay compared to coming off the injury, but he still looks like shit. My God, his form number is going to look bad because he started playing off this hip injury, and it's just not right. It's still not right. I'll play Power. I almost played Power outright to win this tournament. He was the first guy I cut from my card. I like him quite a bit. He is he's a player who has won a tournament. There's not that many of those guys in this field right now, unless you count Corn Ferry wins. So I will. And to be fair, Harris English won a couple times last year, and he fucked up his hip like an old person. And I don't think he's quite right yet. So I'm still fine fading him here, even though I mistakenly apparently bet him to win a full tournament matchup against Gary Woodland, which is looking poor right now. So this is my get back. I got to get some. I've basically created a Polish middle here, Polish middle on the Georgia product. But Harris English, Sea Island, of the Sea Island, Georgia company. There's like 8 PGA golfers that live out there. Hopefully he plays like shit today, honestly. And Gary Woodland plays worse. But yeah, Seamus Power, maybe a nice live ad too. If you don't have an outright, I don't hate him if you find the right number for him. And that'll start after lunchish. And then that'll flow right into baseball. We got college football tonight. Then overnight tonight, European tennis. Or is any of this afternoon? Or is this all morning, tomorrow, overnight?
Now we got one's coming up quickly. I'm going to see kind of what the order of play looks like right now. We've got one for today. Our bet in Tallinn will be for today. And then Parma will be at some point tomorrow. They actually finished up the clay tennis in enough time for me to get a line to look at. But we'll start again in Tallinn. This match should be up probably 15, 20 minutes after we finish the show. It's next matched up. Contivate's up 5-2 here on Bonaventure. That should be a nice quick 2-0. So in about 45 minutes or so, Karolina Mahova and Kaya Kanepi come out in what should be just a battle, an absolutely brutal, long match. I expect a lot of breaks back and forth here, even a couple gutty service holds. I'm looking at 7-5, 7-6 for the first set. Just looks like a really nice number to me. The total for the full match is a very juicy 21.5. Wonder if it actually ends up at 22, which is what we've been seeing in some of these hardcourt events later in the year. The courts are a little quicker and seem to be hold and serve a little better. And again, two women that play very long matches, generally average 22 or more games when they play. And again, that first set number at 9.5 looks really great to me. We'll play over 10.5 and over 12.5 as well. So have that coming up in a little bit. And then in Parma, Bogdan Sharif, one of the things that I've been looking at later in the season here, totals seem to be a lot lower as you get later and later in tournaments. Still doing a little bit more work on that, but before even considering that we are later in the tournament, Bogdan has just been a great under player, set unders, full match unders, pretty much all season and even the last couple of years. Something about her style just generates a lot of breaks and a lot of really quick sets here. And overall, should be a little too much for Myers Sharif. 21.5 games looks great to me. I would have this closer to 20.5, maybe a cheap 21, something like that. So to be able to get that half game under 21.5 looks really great. So Mahova Kanepi, first set over again. That'll be in about 30, 45 minutes. And then Bogdan Sharif, under 21.5. That should be early tomorrow morning in Italy.
Italy.
As my grandmother says it.
Yeah.
Italy, where the Italians are from.
Making me want pizza even worse.
I do love
Pizza Friday. Everyone can get pizza.
Last night was fun, obviously, because Drew and I had some Bengals. Not 100% sure it was the right side, but give a fuck. Got to the window. Second half over didn't. That was a little dicey. Although I had a chance to push late before Miami ended up turning it over in downs, or turning it over at the end there. Whatever. We're on to Sunday. Watch the deep dive if you want all our breakdowns. I tweeted that out this morning. We do like 5-10 minutes on every single game. Tough week to bet, but I did want to mention someone in one of the chats talked me into betting on Utah State last night, and then I forgot about it.
I saw your tweet about that.
Yeah, there was a goddamn NFL game on. I'm like, and then I forgot about it. They had it on at the bar on one of the TVs, and they were up 7-0. And then I looked back, and it was changed to the Brewers game. So I'm like, I guess whatever. We'll check on that later. Forgot all about it. Easy cover, apparently. So 1-0 in college for the week. Not a big deal. Looking to add to that. And for that, that's why you're here, Matt. You need to help me out. And you're just a fucking broken record with these Gophers.
Honestly, when I'm on here,
if it ain't broke.
When I'm on here, I want to try and throw the Gophers on here for you anyway. So I'll start with that one because that one's an interesting game. I was all over Purdue in the beginning of the year, in the offseason leading up to the year. They haven't looked bad, but their quarterback, Aiden O'Connell's hurt, didn't play last week, and the offense was nowhere near the same. They only got by FAU by a 2-point win. It was like 28-26 or 23-21, something like that. So it wasn't a very impressive win. O'Connell's got some hurt ribs, which probably means a broken rib, and he's a game time decision. So even if he's playing, he's going to be a little bit banged up. If he's not playing, the line tells me he's probably not playing because I think it opened at like Minnesota -7.5 and has been all the way to 12.5 at some places, 12. If he doesn't play, I think Minnesota wins this game pretty easily. They run the ball really well. Purdue is okay against the run defensively, but I think with what we saw from Tanner Morgan in their passing game last week, that they can be balanced enough to blow out a really bad Big Ten team in Michigan State last week, but a competent Big Ten team, I should say. They kind of blew them out. They looked really impressive in their first real test of the year. So I like them at home against Purdue. I think you win that game, and they're kind of cruising to a Big Ten championship bid. And then tonight we'll go to Washington and UCLA in that Rose Bowl that I'm sure is just going to be so packed for this one. Number 15, Washington, only laying 2.5. The offenses look really, really good with Michael Penix Jr. just transferred in this year from Indiana. He looks healthy. The offense under Kalen DeBoer looks really, really good. They're putting up 44 points a game. The defense has played pretty well, only allowing like 18. And they've actually played some competition this year. Michigan State's not a great team, but they did host, a Big Ten opponent, blew them out at home. They've already played Stanford, won that game by 18 last week. UCLA's best opponent is South Alabama. And while the Sun Belt has had a nice year, that's a game that they barely snuck by at home and beat South Alabama 32-31. So I don't think we've seen enough from UCLA yet. I think Washington's offense is really good and the real deal. So I think they win that game. I think the over's like down to 64.5. I probably like that too, but might stay away from it. Might try to get something live. And then Wake Forest getting 6.5 at Florida State. I like Florida State. I think they've had a nice year. They still might win this game at home. I just think 6.5 points is too much to be giving to Sam Hartman and that offense of Wake Forest. We saw what they could do last week against a pretty darn good Clemson defense. Now, they might have learned Clemson's secondary isn't all that good, but they still have a really good defensive line and good pass rush. And Wake Forest did whatever they want. They put up 45 points and it went into overtime, but still they had a really, really good day throwing the football. Doesn't look like the hurricane is going to affect the weather there. It looks like it's going to be 85 and sunny, maybe a little bit humid in Tallahassee, but that shouldn't be a weather game where it's getting all sloppy and people can't throw. So I like Sam Hartman, Wake Forest, to cover the 6.5 there on the road. And then Malik Cunningham, Louisville's quarterback, over 98 rush yards against Boston College. Boston College has been a massive disappointment so far this year in the ACC. They were a dark horse pick to possibly play Clemson in an ACC championship game. They've just been terrible. They allow over 150 yards a game on the ground. Malik Cunningham has rushed for 110 plus in 3 of the 4 games this year. The only game he didn't was the first game of the year at Syracuse in the Carrier Dome. We learned that Syracuse is actually pretty good, and the Carrier Dome is just a really weird place to go play football.
Weird shit happens in the Carrier Dome.
It really does.
They could be the worst team in the Big East. Doesn't matter.
It's apparently not called the Carrier Dome anymore, but we're going to call it the Carrier. They'll always be the Big East to me.
I put him in the Big East. That's pretty funny.
But he ran for 121 against UCF, which is a pretty good football team on the road. He ran for 127 against Florida State at home. And then last week against South Florida, just 9 attempts on the ground, ran for 113. And that was a game where he didn't. They were up. They won 41-3. They were up big, so they pulled the reins back a little bit. I like him to rush for over 100 in this one. So those are my 4. Malik Cunningham is my Prize Picks entry in the Blogger Bowls Prize Picks entry that we're putting together for the weekend. I really like that. I like that one a lot. And then I'm really excited for the one tonight, Washington UCLA. That's a perfect Friday night Pac-12 after dark type game.
That's what I hope that starts late. And actually, I might not go to the game.
I think it's 9 o'clock.
It's
9:30 Central. That's a late one.
Come on, go see the Gophers.
It's homecoming tonight for the
sorry, the high school
Tigers. Game. Yeah, high
go
school
check out
ball.
The high school game. And
it's gonna be bad. Like,
what time's the high school game? 7.
Yeah, I think so. But it's just gonna be a bad game. Our local squad has won the last 3 games by a combined. It was like 160-7. Like, they're very good. And what do you do for homecoming, Matt? You schedule the worst team in the conference. So like Red Wings coming to town. Red Wings not good at all. Like,
it's always fun to see the Red Wings
good teams hard. So yeah, Red Wing. I don't know if anyone's familiar with the Boots. Red Wing. That's where they're from. That's where they're from. Red Wing, Minnesota. Nice town. They have a Duluth trading company. It's on the river. Really cool town. Terrible football team, apparently. So go Stewartville Tigers. Maybe I'll make it to the game. If not, I'll watch some Pac-12.
Pac-12 game doesn't start till 9:30, so you got plenty of time to get home for that one.
Little avocado girl, then. Why not both? That's an avocado commercial. I digress. We'll move to the NFL. And I've talked about a lot of my plays. Like I said, follow the deep dive if you need a breakdown for any of the games. We timestamp not only the podcast, but the YouTube. You can click right on the game you want to hear about in case you don't want to hear me jabbering for 90 fucking minutes about the NFL. We got into it on a few games. Not a lot of bets. I liked the Rams money line earlier in the week. I took some of that on Monday night. I liked the London under, but that number has moved quite a bit based on the injury news for the Saints now. But
Andy
still,
Dalton.
yeah. And I mean, Michael Thomas as well. That's just tough luck for the Saints, despite doing the right thing and traveling early. But I will say there are plenty of teaser legs left.
Very good teaser week.
It's a really, really good teaser week. And it's funny, somebody DM'd me
because
I joked about round robining. I didn't joke. Like I'm joking about, I do round robin.
About round robins.
No, I do round robin them. And they're like, hey, what book lets you round robin them? And I said, buddy, I don't know if there is a book that lets you do that like organically. I said, also, I only bet teasers at like 2 places because I'm way more focused in on getting -110 on a 6-pointer than finding some capability like that. I'm not sure any book does, but I said I'm doing it manually. Yeah, if you had the alt lines,
if you went through and did alt lines and did it that way and like just clicked the length,
but I think they would they'd charge you a bad price though if you didn't do the teaser. If you do alt lines, you're probably going to pay like -140s, which honestly some of the legal books do anyway.
Always get you.
And then somebody in the just deep dive Discord, deep dive comment section during the show was asking about the Wong teaser and wanting some explanation because everybody understands crossing the 7 and 3 with the 6-pointer, but there are some secondary Wongs and the 6.5 and 7-point teasers, and those are a little less common. I promised to touch on that. I'll try to put together like a short blog, just kind of outlining. Here's what the original Wong teasers looked like and the math behind it. I'll try to do something, but these are mostly in the 6-point teaser range. If you can find something that's +1.5 to +2.5, that is a very, very sexy teaser. Not only that, but a bunch of these games are home games, or in the Saints case, it is starting to push out of the teaser zone. I probably crossed that one off just because that's a heavy -3 for Minnesota. That's probably going to push to 3.5. But if you find something like Falcons +1.5, if you're sitting on Cardinals +1.5, Broncos +2.5, Tampa, there's places that have Tampa +1.5, +1. There's places that have Chiefs now the other way. The Rams are probably the best one of the week. I really think that number should be flipped. Despite the good Niners defense and being at home, that's probably the best one of the week. And truth be told, it's a really fun teaser that you could do. Broncos +2.5 versus the Raiders, and then fade the Broncos with the Colts on Thursday Night Football for books that have that open. You can do a double Broncos game teaser. So I like that. All of these. Yeah, Kyle, I'm sure actually did have a Dolphins teaser because why wouldn't
That's just who he is.
Yeah, he teases totals. He's he wears jean shorts in the shower.
He teases basketball.
Yeah, don't tease basketball. That's like that's key one. But like I said, I'll put together a short blog belaying that. I did a Cardinals Tampa teaser, which I was a little worried about having canceled because of the venue change. They are playing in Tampa, so that one's safe. And then I put together a backup of Cardinals Rams, which I'm in love with as well. So those are my 2 favorite combos outside of the Rams. The Broncos are a very, very hot side right now. So get those before those numbers start to go away. That Broncos number is going to start to move away from it. There's some sharps. There's some sharp people, sharp groups that are kind of laying in on that Broncos number right now.
You think it gets down to a pick 'em or just down to like 1.5 maybe?
I don't know. It's tough to say. Like
it's a 2.5 right now.
Yeah, depending. I think it probably stays in that. But yeah, Chris has 2.5. You're probably pretty safe on that. Broncos, Rams, teaser of the week.
And then what do we think about Dan's same game parlay here? Apparently DeGrom always pitches well against the Braves and loses anyway.
That's in the blog this morning. The Braves, that's every team. Like
that's every game. They're like better this year though, and that's I don't know. I took the Mets first half result in the baseball blog this morning, which was like +115. But that's going to be an awesome pitching matchup. It's DeGrom and Fried, and it's just probably the under is the right play there. The first half under 3.5 was like -160, so there's just no value to it.
Is this so? First of all, yes, the NBA preseason started
last night.
Yeah, there was a game yesterday that I know some people that bet on. Second, is this an actual magazine? I know you're always in the chat. I've never read it. I don't know if I'm a legs guy per se, but I like the music
chicken
video.
legs.
The ZZ Top video. And I do
Big
like
fan of
chicken
a
legs.
drumstick.
So, congrats to all the teams that made the playoffs. We'll check in on baseball again once the playoffs actually start because these last two games are just
They're tough.
fucking horrible to get through. Cool. All right, let's call it a week then, huh? Noops, enjoy Philadelphia living. Matt, Notre Dame, who they play this week?
Bye week, can't lose.
Bye week, can't lose. They're going to remain 500. My Gophers look to stay undefeated against the hated Boilermakers. And with that, we'll catch you. I won't see anybody till like Sunday. See you Sunday for some deep diving. Back here with Noops on Monday.